Good afternoon and welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at MarketSite, we have Andrew Chung. He's the CEO of Venovo Property Group, and we are going to look at urban warehouses and how they are becoming the key to logistics success. So great to have you with us at MarketSite. And you know what? Amazon, they turned us into accepting expedited shipping as the new norm.
Exactly. So last mile delivery is a really interesting field for us. Amazon started to do a 1 week delivery, and now the norm for them is 2-day delivery, and it's going to next day delivery and same day delivery. Our logistics systems were never set up to provide 2-day, same day, next day delivery. In fact, our logistics systems were for FedEx and UPS were for multi-day delivery. So as Amazon has moved the goalposts to an expedited delivery, the infrastructure needs to follow. And that's why we're creating urban warehouses. So the rise of e-commerce is only 10% of retail right now, growing at double-digit rate, and the shrinking delivery times is basically disrupting supply chain logistics systems. And the product needs to be closer to the consumer.
So it sounds like it's just becoming an increasingly competitive marketplace for retailers. I mean, you have to have the e-commerce and omni-channel presence at this point.
You have to have the omni-channel presence. Consumers are demanding it. The retailers have to do it. They don't know how to do it. A lot of the reason, as I mentioned before, is the infrastructure is not there to provide an omni-channel experience. So if you need to do a buy online, pick up in store, or buy in store and deliver, but the warehouses are 100 miles away, 200 miles away, how can you do that?
Right.
And that's what the urban warehouse is going to be able to
So you get that invaluable proximity to the key cities where you're seeing that demand. Like for New York, for example, we are so used to, I mean, you could get anything within 5 minutes here.
Exactly.
But what does that look like? I mean, I can't imagine a giant warehouse in the middle of Midtown.
So it's not going to be in the middle of Midtown. It is mostly going to be in the boroughs. There is, as you know, New York is very land constrained. So we were lucky to find a 20-acre site in the Bronx at the intersection of all the major truck roads. I don't think a lot of people know this, but the Bronx actually has 10 connections of bridges into the city, 9 of which are toll-free.
So I would imagine the closer you are, that's also going to drive down logistics costs and serving these omni-channel retailers.
So the closer you are, and if you're in the New York system, we actually have to thank Uber and Lyft for the technology that they created, which was route optimization and capacity utilization of picking up people and using the technology to basically have as less of an empty car as possible, but you could translate the people into goods. So if you could do capacity maximization of a truck with goods, it brings down the logistics cost down. And if you're in a dense urban environment, along with the technology, the logistics cost per package ends up going significantly down.
So what do these warehouses look like? For example, in the city, we have Home Depots that are stories like they go up. They don't go out these huge, massive complexes. Will urban warehouses kind of look like that? Where they're vertical?
Urban warehouses, typical warehouses in rural and suburban areas will be only one story because there's a lot of land. Urban warehouses will not because we're land constrained. So urban warehouses are actually going to be flipped on top of each other, and you will see a multi-story urban warehouse. That's what we're doing in the Bronx.
All right, fascinating. Thank you so much for joining us at MarketSite. And thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.